Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are chatting all about how to balance the qualities of oily and dry. That is another quality that we talk about when it comes to the 10 gunas on the spectrum of kind of like oily on one side and dry on the other, and how and what do we need and what do we use to bring ourselves into balance. Welcome, my name is Nina Sachs. I am one of the directors at the Academy of Yoga and Ayurveda, along with my colleagues Jennifer and Pramila. And today we are going to be delving into the world of Ayurveda a little. If you are interested in any of our yoga teacher trainings or additional workshops, just head down to the descriptions below and you'll be able to find exactly what we're up to recently. But let's have a look. I'm going to do a little reading from one of my favorite books, again, Ayurveda, The Fundamental Principles by Dr. Vasant Lad. And let's just get an idea as to kind of like what is oily and what is dry. He explains it really nicely. So oily or unctuous, I just love the word unctuous. It really encompasses like this feeling and this idea of oiliness. The oily qualities increase Pitta and Kapha and decrease Vata. Oiliness brings relaxation. It creates smoothness, moisture, lubrication, and vigor. It promotes compassion. Love is oily, liquid, and nourishing because it has the qualities of Snigdha. Snigdha is oily. So that is kind of like oily. Now, how is that important? Well, on the one side, we've got the oiliness, and we know that that is what increases Pitta and Kapha, and it decreases the Vata. So it's going to balance the Vata nicely. So Vatas need more oil. And what this is saying is that if there is not enough oil in our system within the person, that we can pick up certain imbalances that are arising. And if there is too much oil in a person, which kind of like increases the kapha and the vata, that will also show in a specific imbalance. All right. So on the one side, we have got oiliness, and we are looking to bring ourselves into balance. And on the other side, there is dryness. So what is dryness? Dry or ruksha, the dry quality increases vata and decreases pitta and kapha. The opposite of snigdha is ruksha. It creates dehydration and makes the stool hard and dry, causing constipation. So dry weather causes aggravation of vata under the skin, causing the skin to become dry, rough, and cracked. Now, this is also the interesting part. Fear, nervousness, and loneliness are dry. So what does this mean when it comes to your yoga teaching and your yoga classes? Well, we know that oiliness has got to do with love and compassion. It's got like those qualities of like being very anxious and people are drawn to you. And then the dry qualities are kind of like this idea of loneliness. So if you're teaching a yoga class and you can see the participants arriving and maybe they're just all very like isolated in their own space, there's the sense of quality of vata, of dryness, too much dryness. And so what we want is we need to bring a little bit of like anxiousness and oily and love into the room. And so you may be doing certain yoga practices beforehand to create a little bit more of that like love, that oiliness. And so one of the practices that I used to do when I was teaching at my studio is just do a little bit of like checking in with the community and seeing how everyone is. And just by doing that simple practice or getting someone to say something, like everyone just getting to voice like how they are or how they're feeling or what spice they feel like they are today, just creates a little bit of communication, and then it starts to create connection between the students. And the sooner you have that connection and there's a little bit of laughter and there's a little bit of relatability to another person, is that people are moving from the space of being isolated, of being dry, of too much vata, and they're coming into the space and bringing themselves back or bringing the whole group back into balance, where there's more love and understanding and compassion. And so it doesn't necessarily always mean that Ayurveda is about food and diet. It can be by a simple practice of, as a yoga teacher, coming in and realizing, okay, everyone is feeling really isolated. I need to create like a little bit more community amongst the people so that I can bring them into balance. All right. So if this has been helpful, give it a little thumbs up. Make sure that you share this with a yoga teacher who you think would benefit from hearing it, or someone who's wanting to become a yoga teacher. And if you are keen to delve into our 200 or 300-hour yoga teacher training or our 40-hour training in Ayurveda, be sure to mention yes or pop yes in the comments, or yes, whatever in the comments, and I'll get back to you with all the details you need. But hopefully this idea of kind of like oiliness and unctuousness, and this idea of dryness, realizing that we always need to find a happy medium, a happy balance between the two. And so if there is just too much dryness, bring in that unctuousness. If there is too much oiliness and there's too much stagnation and it's just this sitting of oil, then you realize that you need to do something that's a little bit more dry. All right. Hopefully that has clarified and helped. If you have any questions, as usual, pop them in the comments. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again soon. Lots of love.